quick overview and how to, or at least how I'd use it for the wax seal pack. I'm going to go over what's included in it first and then jump right into the files themselves. Once you download and unzip the file, you'll see this in your folder. The font download links, the included texture instructions, the wax seal pack Illustrator file, the wax seal pack EPS file, and the wax seal pack Photoshop file. As a point of reference, if you want to use the included textures, that is only in the Photoshop file, so that's what you're going to want to use for that. Inside the font download links, you'll see the fonts that I used, the links to download them. I believe they're good for commercial and personal use, but it's your job to make sure that you have the rights to do so if you choose to use this commercially. The texture instructions I will go over in this video, but I'll write them down here as well. So first things first, let's jump into the Photoshop file since that's where the textures are at. When you first hop into the file, you'll see a textures folder here, and I made it red just so it stands out, and then the 8 different type layouts. And once you jump inside the different type layouts, I'll move this recorder bar, inside here there's a wax seal versions folder, the type elements folder for white type, and the type elements folder for black type, which will be used if you go like here and select a different wax seal with the white. So as you're flipping through the options here, that's really the only thing you're going to have to switch. So basically if it's a black seal, you're going to want to have the white type selected, and if it's a white seal, you're going to want to have the black type selected. And in the actual type folders themselves, there should be a separate vector object for any elements that was specific to that type, as well as the live text layers for each of the different type elements in there. And this is all live type, so just make sure that you install the fonts and you have them ready to go before opening this up so you can edit them. And then you can just change them really quickly, get in there, get it done. And this is not good for Photoshop Elements due to the folders. There's just way too much stuff in there. It had been a pretty chaotic file. But if you do have Photoshop Elements and you really want to use this, just send me a message on Creative Market and I will do what I can to help you out. But hopefully this gives a quick look. So once again, just select the white type if you're using a black seal, or the black type if you're using a white seal. But let's jump right into the included textures. The folder up on the very top is the textures, and I included 4 different ones, just in case you really, really quickly wanted to add some texture and then didn't want to go through either making them or finding them all. So once you open it up, you'll see there's texture 1, texture 2, texture 3, texture 4. And then there's the layer masks. I have them all disabled, and I'll go into that really quickly here, but I'll just page through the 4 different options so you can kind of get an idea. This is texture 1. This is texture 2. This is texture 3. And here's texture 4. I try to make them quite a bit different, but since they had to work for every single one of the wax elements, they're, you know, hopefully pretty versatile in terms of how you want to use them. They'll definitely work better on the black seals because you can see a lot more, but it does add texture to white ones as well. Another way you can use this is you could actually just go on and flip multiple textures on at the same time if you want some more variations. You know, play around, see what looks best for what you're trying to do. But how I would use these personally is once I found a texture I like and I have the wax seal selected that I want, I would take this actual layer mask. So let's just use this top one here, and make sure this layer is off before you do this so it doesn't apply it twice. But take the layer mask here, and you could hold Alt down, and then just drag the layer mask, and that'll duplicate, holding Alt duplicates. Drag it down to the wax seal that you have selected here, and that'll automatically apply it. This way you're not actually destroying your artwork, or there's not like a added layer on top that's white if you really wanted the transparent background behind it. Just to show why that might matter, I'll make the background a blue here. And as you can see the blue coming through this way. Whereas if I turn this off by holding Shift and clicking it, that's a quick way to turn on and off mask, just hold Shift and click. If I turn this on, that texture remains white instead of showing the blue through. So if you have kind of an image behind it that you want the image to show through, or a specific color, masks are really the way to do that. And also that way you keep this object as a vector object, a smart vector object, so that you can resize it without losing quality. But let's actually jump into the Illustrator file now, and I'll go over some more stuff. I'll actually just close Photoshop completely. So here's how I personally really like working inside Illustrator. I try to make it really easy in that, there's just two different layers. You can select type or wax seals. So basically whatever I'm editing, I will lock the other one. So if I'm going to work on the type, I'll lock the wax seal, so that way if I'm moving stuff around or whatever, I'm not accidentally selecting the wax seal and dragging it all over the place. Just saves a little bit of annoyance there. But as you can see, they're all set up, and they actually all use just simple type effects. So whatever you type in here will automatically have that applied to it. And if you want to edit that, the actual effect applied, just go to Window and then make sure Appearance is selected. And then you can see here, once I select it, it has the warp right here. So warp arc. Just select Preview, and then you can go in and modify it if you want it to look different. And they're not all warp arc, but you'll see the effect there. Another way to use this pack that I think is really cool is, since they're all circular objects, most of the type layouts will work on basically any of them. They might need to be resized, but I'll just lock the type so I can grab only the wax seal. And I'm just going to grab this one, and I'll copy and paste it over here. And then I'll take a totally different type layout. I guess it doesn't really matter which one I pick. I'll just go up here and grab this. I'll grab this type layout, and I'm just going to zoom in here and paste it in this one. So you can kind of mix and match. And I'll just actually duplicate this again. I'm holding down Alt and then dragging it, because Alt will make it automatically copy. This is a quick time saver. And I'll just grab a totally different kind of type right here. Actually, I'm going to want the black type so it actually shows up. Let's quickly paste that in. Just try to get them somewhat centered. But as you can see, mixing and matching will give you a ton of options. I just applied one possible option across the different versions of wax seals here. And then as you can see, as you go down, these are the 8 different type layout options, just going down. And then as you go across, it's different variations of the wax seal shape itself. Another thing to consider too is you can drag and drop specific elements from this. So let's say I want this kind of like underline swoosh kind of deal instead of this one. I can just delete this, paste this different one in here, kind of, it's going to be difficult for me, modify it to kind of suit the needs. But play around, have some fun. There's a ton of different options, so you'll have a lot of different things you can do with it. Or make your own custom type as well. Just, drag the type, start recombining it, make something totally different, totally original. It's up to you. But that goes over pretty much everything. If you have any additional comments or questions, feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.